Hey guys, what's up? It's Melody. Today we're going to be talking about how to make a bed skirt. Well, it's not a bed skirt. It's one of the I gotta look up the exact terminology, but it's basically at the foot of your bed. They call it a fringe end of bed blanket. That's not very catchy. A bed scarf. We're going to be using a handy dandy scissors and your yarn. So I think it's only going to take 4. But it might take a little bit more. If you're going to be making a blanket, 5 is perfect for a kid blanket. 6 or 7 is perfect for a bigger blanket. But you know, for this next blanket, because I've already made 2 blankets and I'm going to make a 3rd one. By the time I get to the 4th one, I'm going to make a huge blanket. It's going to span this whole bed. And so it's going to be amazing. And it's going to kill my arm. But you know what? It's going to be worth it. And if you want to go the extra mile, since it is the holidays, you can go ahead and donate some blankets as well to the homeless. They'll really appreciate it. It's the way to give back, you know what I'm saying? So you start off with your yarn. This is going to be the hardest part. All you have to do is start off with your loop like that, make a loop, and then put a loop inside of the loop. Does that make sense? And then yank it. It's good to start it off with nice sizable loops. This is going to be the bottom of the blanket or the bed scarf. So you're gonna grab through your loop like this, you're gonna grab another loop and you're gonna push it through. But when you do these, you kind of want to spread them apart. You're gonna grab one loop, push it through. Then you're gonna grab another loop and push it through. And you don't want to yank it too tight because you kind of want it to be spread apart just until you get to the edge of the bed. So you're getting your hole like that, and then you're just pushing loop after loop, but you don't want to yank it. You don't want to yank it. You want to keep these loops pretty loose. This is the edge of the blanket, so if you yank it and make it tight, what's going to happen is it's going to be curled. The blanket's going to be curled, so you want it to flow nicely and out. I'm going to keep you on the straight and narrow, okay? So this is going to be a very long fringe. This is the time where you turn to your scarfing neighbor and you look at them and you say, how's your holidays been going? My holidays have been going great. Better if the loops on the edge are big because they won't be scrunched up together. And then when we go upwards, we want the loops to be smaller because it's going to create a really tight, cozy feel and a lot of dedication, but the edges should be as loose as possible. That's like any project. You start the project with a loose attitude and then you tighten it up. And then you tighten it up. We made this train the length of the bed. This loop, instead of going sideways, we're gonna push it to the top like that. And I'm gonna make the loop smaller because when you're going upwards, they should be small. Looks so much better. And it's so much cozier, and you have to think that these loops are going to loosen in the wash as well. So on the first blanket that I made the loops a little bit looser, and even though it's just as cozy, that looks so high class. So when we're gonna go upwards, we're gonna make these really tight. Now Pat loves these blankets, so now I have to make one for her. The smaller that the loops are, the more tight it's gonna be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push right through here. We're going to push upward the loop, and you want to go in the direction that you're going to be going the whole time. So I just pushed it from the back, so that means all of my loops are going to have to go through the back. So I push that. Now you go through the next, see this next hole, and you go through every hole that you can find, and you push it up and through. So the idea is we're making all the loops now face upward, going through every single hole that there is and pushing one through, pushing a loop through and pushing it up. I went in and did the first row. Now these loops, because there's only one facing upward, they're very delicate, so you want to be really careful or else they can all come undone. But once we put the second layer, it's going to be really solid. It's going to be really solid because it's going to start stabilizing the whole scarf. So this is the first row of loops. We've ended here, and we're going to grab this and push this from the back and push it up one more time. And as you can see, these loops are so tiny. The tinier that they are, the more tight and cozy. So we're going to push this loop through and make it really tiny again and go through each line all over again. So we basically push this loop and we have our second row, and each successive row we're going to raise it. Since we pushed it from the back, each loop needs to be pushed from the back so that it looks uniform. This is such an easy project. You can easily knock a couple of these out, and this is such great gifts. So I'm going to have a DIY recipe that I'm going to be making with my mom, And this would be such an amazing gift to give with that. This is something that I always imagine doing by a fireplace. If I had a fireplace, that's the only thing that I would want that I don't have. Put some logs on, get the bugs out of the logs, get a few splinters in there. It's all part of the experience. Start coughing up the soot. Have trouble starting the fire. I don't know how many rows I'm gonna put up for this, but I'm just gonna keep going until it seems to be a good length, and then I'm gonna close it off. So with this blanket, it's really a journey. When I go down to Houston, I'm going to be looking at a quilting festival, and I gotta tell you guys, I would love to get into quilting because I feel like it would be better for my arms, and it's a bit more difficult, so might not be as relaxing. But man, have I got some ideas for quilts that I'd like to put down. Mainly rainbow quilts. Imagine getting a multicolored quilt. I get so much happier when I'm surrounded by color. Even if I don't have that much stuff in the living room, to be honest, I have almost nothing. I like it for things to pop. So I'm going to start on the next row and pop it from the back and push it up and continue on. Pop it from the back. It will look like a beautiful work of art. When you get to the end of a line, then all you do is double knot it and then just stuff it in and just keep going. So cut off any excess once you double knot it, just so it doesn't come off in the dryer, and then just keep it moving. The very last holes at the very top, to bind it, you're going to make them really big. So the holes that you were doing up to now were relatively small, but the very last row needs to be huge. You're going to turn the loops and you're going to push it sideways. You're going to feed them into each other sideways like that, so you can bind the whole top just like it was done at the bottom. At the bottom, all of them were going sideways. So at the top now that the loops are really big, you're just going to push each hole into the other and keep going down the line and tie it off. Now that I've made these big holes, I'm going to go ahead and loop it. I like the bed scarf. I think it adds a really cozy, wavy, nice texture, and it'll be really great for the foot. So let me show you the end result once I tie this off. Because the loops were so big, then when I'm tying it off, it just folds so perfectly over, it doesn't pull it. If the loops are too small, it starts yanking it and curling the ends. But because the loops are just the right size, it just lays down flat. So when I cut it, I left about this much of a tail, and what I'm going to do is just tuck it along the binding. You can always take out the binding and then make it way longer and make it into a full-size blanket. So it's about 40 across, 40 holes across. If you get 4 of these from Michael's, you can make this whole thing across, 40 across. 40 finger holes across, and it looks absolutely stunning. It adds a nice chunky texture, and what's great is when you're laying in bed and your feet are cold, problems are solved, your Christmas cheer, all you need is a couple candles and a little tinsel, and you have got the dream going on. So if you guys like this video, if you did, definitely get these for Christmas. Like this video up. I'll see you guys next week.